presents NBA Basketball, America's Game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. For great taste, there is only one light beer. By Honda. See the Accord LXI hatchback at your local Honda dealer. By Menon Speed Stick Deodorant. Gives you man-sized protection against perspiration odors. Let the wide stick give you the edge. By Kodak. Introducing the new VR cameras. And by Delta Airlines. Serving more than 100 cities in the U.S. and overseas. Delta gets you there.
Hi, everybody. Rick Barry along with Bill Russell bringing you today's ball game from the Coliseum in Richfield, Ohio. And we are really happy to have you joining us this afternoon because you have to be true dyed-in-the-wool NBA fans because this game really doesn't have a lot of significance. Now, the reason it doesn't have a lot of significance is because the fellow who was standing next to me had to go and win that game the other night, Stan Albeck, and you made the playoffs. You threw a monkey wrench in everybody's plans. The NBA sent two of their top officials here. But anyway, how do you feel about making the playoffs?
Well, Rick, I'm really excited. I think we have a team that matches up well with Boston. We played them extremely well a couple of times this season, and all of that was done without Michael Jordan.
Bill?
The team ownership and the team doctor didn't want Michael Jordan to come back and play this year. Michael Jordan wanted to come back and play this year. And in a sense, he forced his way back into the lineup and forced you guys into the playoffs.
Well, that's true, Bill. He convinced three medical people that he should play, plus ownership, and I think that gives you an indication of the type of personality he is. He's very strong. His comment was simply that, you know, no one knows their body better than Michael Jordan, and he can play injury-free, and hopefully he can.
All right, Stan, I heard before we went on the air. Now, you asked Bill, how do you beat the Boston Celtics? So, what are your plans going up against the Celtics?
I thought he would give me a hint, but he didn't. All he said is good luck.
What's the biggest problem they cause for you?
Oh, I think it's a matchup up front. We're just simply not big enough, so we're going to have to resort to some gimmickry, I guess.
Well, listen, thanks for spending some time with us here, and enjoy today. Yeah, have a good broadcast. And I'll tell you, because the game doesn't have significance, Bill and I are going to come back and try and bring a little special treat to you during the course of this ball game. We're going to do a few things different and hope that you'll stay with us and enjoy today's ball game. We'll be back with the start of it in just a moment. And we just had the jump ball as the Chicago Bulls get first possession as the shot clock goes down inside of 10. Michael Jordan to the basket. That's Keith Lee pulling it away. Lloyd free.
World B.
World B. No, he's Lloyd. He's not officially World B anymore. He missed. I'll tell you about that, Bill. We're here with the Chicago Bulls playing against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Last game of the NBA season for both ball clubs. Chicago Bulls on Friday night wrapped up 8th spot in the Eastern Conference playoff picture. This game would have decided had Chicago lost. They came from behind to beat Washington as Mel Turpin makes the move inside. Cavaliers been struggling. They've lost 7 in a row to enable the Bulls to overtake them and make that 8th spot in the playoff to go up against the Boston Celtics. Gene Littles is now the coach as George Karl was released 14 games ago. That is for Cleveland. And Michael Jordan, whose playing time has been increasing from 14 minutes a game when he first was activated in the middle of March up to the point where on Friday night he played the entire 24 minutes of the second half in that important game for Chicago. Johnson in Atlanta. One thing he hasn't forgotten how to do is shoot the ball, Bill.
He can do that, Rick, and he can do that very well. Almost a good defensive play.
Dave Corzine, who just came off the injured list a while back and getting himself back into playing position, but the season not quite over yet for Chicago. Of course, a lot of people with that series coming up against Boston, the mini-series, best of 5, people think that it won't be long before Chicago's season is over. Lloyd or World B. Free. The reason I said, Bill, I was reading an article that he never officially signed the proper papers, so that legally he did not get the name World B. Now, I know he likes to be called World B, so we'll go along with it, but officially or legally, his name still is Lloyd. At least that's the last report I had, unless he signed the paper since that time. That's Woolridge missing from the outside, and Roy Hinson controlling. Good pass from Johnson to Free. And Worrell is having one of his outstanding seasons in his career, Bill. Unfortunately, they're not going to be going to the playoffs. He really has been playing a much better all-around game. Three-pointer by Michael Jordan. And there's Charles Oakley doing what he's been doing so well. Jordan will go to the free throw line. The foul is going to be against Hinson. What we're going to try to do during the course of the game, we'll have our director, Skip Ellison, isolating quite a bit on some of these Chicago Bull players, in particular Michael Jordan, Orlando Woolridge, and Charles Oakley, giving an opportunity to really see how these players work on both ends of the court. And Bill will be calling upon you to analyze what you think they're doing correctly and incorrectly, and how they'll match up in that series against the Boston Celtics.
Well, you know, Rick, when they're playing against the Cavaliers, it'll be a different look than playing against the Celtics.
That's Woolridge with the foul inside. We'll set the starting lineups for you since we can get started late. It's Hinson, Mel Turpin, and Keith Lee in the front line.
Interesting matchup. Keith Lee and Charles Oakley.
Corzine got a hand on it, and Free continues with the hot hand. Backcourt, Michael Jordan and Kyle Macy. And for Chicago, Bill, quickly in the front line, they have Woolridge, Oakley, and Corzine. Backcourt for Cleveland.
And watch those two guys push each other, Oakley and Lee, and they were traded for each other at the beginning of the season.
No pressure by Cleveland as Turpin went over to double team. 5 on the shot clock. Now 3 as Macy fires from 18. And this time jump by Oakley, and Hinson knocks it out of bounds. The alley-oop to Jordan. That's a good pass. He couldn't handle it with the left hand. Controlled by Turpin. Three-pointer, Free. Count it. I think Worrell wants to end this season on a very up note, Bill. He's looking to be very offensive-minded. He's got 9 of the 13 points for the Cavs. That they lead by 7. Coming up on the 8-minute mark here in the first quarter. Free, one of the better three-point shooters in the league, as Woolridge penetrates and will go to the free throw line.
Now the difference, the 9 points that the Cavaliers got. Now here's a good shot at Woolridge going to get clobbered here and there. Is that Woolridge at the foul line now? The Wolves seem to be trying to go inside, and the Cavaliers are taking the three-pointers and the long jumpers so far. And over a period of 48 minutes, that gets you in the deep trouble.
True. We've seen so often with those inside statistics that we usually give you. Obviously, you probably are aware of the fact that you get that inside game going. Wide open Lee. Bulls gamble defensively, and he made the smart move cutting for the basket. Stan Albeck not happy with that defense again. If you get that inside game working 12 feet and in, you're going to win more often than not.
Well, Stan Albeck was upset with that lack of inside defense. That wasn't even bad defense.
Michael Jordan has it blocked by Turpin. That's Macy with 5 now on the shot clock. Jordan again.
Inside.
And Michael,
he has really been an inspiration to this team, because he could have been home resting like the doctors and the team ownership wanted him to, and he's out here playing, and he got the guys in the playoffs.
Over the back, Keith Lee called.
I was talking to Stan Albeck earlier, and he says that they would not have come close to the playoffs if Michael Jordan doesn't force his way back into the lineup.
Ben McDonald has come into the ball game for Cleveland Cavaliers. That's Oakley. Charles Oakley from about 18 feet. His first 2 of the ball game. 3-point lead now for the Cavs. 6:45 to go, first quarter. Nothing but net, Bill, and he's not shooting in close shots. Jordan counting the basket. Michael Jordan will go to the line. The foul is on Free. First time out of the ball game.
And there's a difference. These two guys both putting it up, taking their shots. Free from the outside, Jordan from the inside. Three-point play here. And he's matched Free with 3 points because Free made one from behind the line, and he had to take 2 shots to make it. But
and they both have 9 points.
Right.
World B. Free. His foot was on the line. He now has, well, Free now, I'm sorry, Free has 13. He, not 9. I was looking at the wrong mark on the score sheet. He has 13 points now. Michael Jordan inside. So it's the Jordan and Free show. 11 for Michael Jordan
show.
So this could turn out to be an interesting confrontation between the two. 34 foul, Oakley. Gene Littles, even though this game has no significance whatsoever for the Cavs, was in studying game films before the ball game, and of course taking his job very seriously, hoping that he may get an opportunity to remain with the club next season. That has not been determined yet. And now Jordan on Free. Turpin draws some traffic. Eddie Johnson tries from 3-point range. Oakley had it and loses it out of bounds.
I think Oakley might play a little stronger against this ball club because they traded him away before the season started for the guy that's guarding him, or the guy that he's guarding, Keith Lee.
I think Chicago will take that trade all day long, Bill. Michael Jordan comes in to take it away. Woolridge is open. And that's one of those bounce passes, Bill, where it's so hard for that ball to come up. And you remember seeing remember Larry Bird throwing one and remember one time he had thrown, he puts a little overspin on it to make it kick and come up so that it's easier for the offensive man to handle.
On that one, he needed backspin, but it was such a long pass, it was hard to get backspin on a pass that long.
And he had to keep it low to get it away from the defenders. Oakley with a good defensive play. 3 against 2 for Chicago. Michael Jordan counted if it goes. Johnson.
Now, I don't think he's going to shoot that until he heard the whistle. He might have passed it because there's a guy open on the lane going on the other side.
Eddie Johnson got kneed in his left thigh. You probably see it again.
There's a steal by Oakley, and he gets it over to Jordan. And if you watch it now, Jordan goes to the hoop. Now, if you look underneath, Woolridge was open. And I think if he hadn't heard the whistle, he would have given it to him.
First free throw good by Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan now has 13 points. Now he has tied World B. Free. It's our 3rd tie of the ball game. We're tied at 19, just inside of 5 minutes left here in the first quarter. Jordan with the block on Free goes to Johnson. 10 on the shot clock. Free tries again. Jordan blocks again, but a foul this time, and the World will be at the free throw line.
If they're in a shootout, one of them going to play some defense.
Well, not necessarily, Bill. I mean, a shootout is not exactly defense. I mean, that's when, who gets the gun out first and shoots first, isn't it?
Well, if you want to get the edge, you might want to just fudge a little bit and play some defense because a couple of shots might not drop. If you're going to outscore the guy, so if you fudge a little bit and play a little defense, you might force a couple of his not to drop.
Woolridge. Good defense by Lee. Look at Lee battling inside with Oakley. 7 on the shot clock. Nice move by Keith Lee. Lee has 4. And it's a 3-point lead to the Cavaliers. 4:10 remaining first quarter. George Gervin in the background walking over to the scorer's table. Until Michael Jordan returned, he had been the starter all season long. Now he comes off the bench. Foul against Lee. Now look at Lee and Oakley battling, Bill. Pretty good for a rookie. He's got that forearm shift down pretty good, doesn't he?
That comes with the turf.
It's that extra playing time he's been getting the last 36 games. Not Lee, we're talking about Oakley with that injury to Jawan Oldham with a broken cheekbone out for the rest of the season. Oakley was forced into playing a lot of games at center and getting a lot of playing time, and he really has blossomed into quite a player. He's averaging almost 13 rebounds a game during those 26 games, and they're very, very pleased with him in Chicago.
Well, what's really good about that is that they are developing a ball club, because of injuries that they probably ordinarily would not have done, that next season they'll have a considerably larger bench. Skilled players, too, that have NBA experience and have played in tough situations.
Also, large in size, also. Three-pointer, free. Turpin with the rebound. Foul is going to be against Oakley, pushing off.
You know, when all the assignments were made for this game, like, for example, 2 referees, when they made the assignment, everyone thought this possibly could be that last playoff spot on the line.
They're calling it close as Free misses again. Corzine made him change it. Good save by Woolridge. Gervin came in the ball game, and Jordan went out as Kyle Macy.
Now, Macy looked back twice and saw Free coming, and just as Free got to try to knock the ball off his back, he moved over the other side, and that's how he got himself free.
And the Chicago Bulls have taken the lead for the first time this afternoon.
That's how he got himself open, as opposed to Free.
Yes, very good. Now, speaking of Free, there he goes again. This time he went inside. Maybe that's why he likes to go outside more often, Bill.
You run into a lot of traffic when you go. Good move by Woolridge. Good move.
4-on-2 break. Chicago again dominating on the inside game. Woolridge now has 4. Chicago leads by 3. And Gene Littles has decided to call a timeout for the Cavaliers. We'll be back in just a moment. 2:46 remaining here in the first quarter. No, he's called a 22nd timeout, Bill, I believe.
Now, I was looking at Woolridge there, and you wonder, against Boston, will he be matched up against Kevin McHale or Larry Bird? I don't think that either one of those jobs is something that you really look forward to.
No, you wouldn't really look forward to that.
You know, because Larry Bird's having such a great couple of years, there's a tendency to not know how good Kevin McHale is.
Well, now we have a full timeout. We'll be back in just a moment. The Bulls lead by 3. After this afternoon's game, you stay tuned right here on the Superstation for the Atlanta Braves taking on the Houston Astros live from the Astrodome, and Joe Johnson will be the Braves' probable starting pitcher right here on the Superstation after the ball game here between the Cavaliers and the Chicago Bulls. Dirk Minifield is in the game for Cleveland. That's Turpin against Corzine. Woolridge controls over McDonald. Ben Poquet also in for Cleveland. Corzine wide open from 18. Dave Corzine, one of the better outside shooting big men in the league. Chicago, we talked about that inside scoring, Bill. They have an 8-2 advantage on inside games, and they have 8 points off of breaks, and Cleveland has yet to score off a fast break.
And that probably means that Cleveland has committed more fouls than the Bulls.
Minifield, his first basket. 3-point lead now for Chicago. Their biggest lead has been 5. Cavs had led by 7 early in the quarter. Woolridge would have counted had it gone. He'll be at the free throw line. Sidney Green coming into the ball game now for Chicago. He didn't play when we did the game against Milwaukee. Also into the game is Mark West. And the Bulls now are 10 for 10 from the free throw line. And that's the inside game working very well.
And Brewer's also the backcourt for the Cavaliers.
Just came into that this free throw attempt by Woolridge. So an entire new 5 players on the court for Gene Littles and the Cavaliers. 4 of the Chicago starters are still out there. 3 of the Chicago starters. Minifield again. His second basket. Minute 25 remaining here in the first quarter.
Now, this game is more important for Chicago than it is for the Cavaliers, because the Chicago team would like to go in the playoffs winning.
Woolridge with a good move. That's Corzine again. He tries to muscle up, and a foul is going to be spotted underneath by Jake O'Donnell.
You always try to end the season, especially going to the playoffs, winning. And the reason for that is, Rick, more than anything, is Here's the action here. Put on the floor. Muscle. Let me go back and get that again.
Donald reached in the second time and got caught. You see Jake O'Donnell came into the screen. What is the reason to keep winning, you were saying?
When you start trying to correct players as a coach, it's 100 times easier after you won a game than it is after you lose a game. They cannot hear you very well after you lost a game. But after you won a game, they can hear what you're saying because they know it's constructive criticism.
Are you telling me that as Minifield makes a good move to the hole, blocked by Corzini, that when Red Auerbach at the few times, as Woolridge against Brewer, offensive foul, those few times that the Celtics lost, when Red Auerbach had these words of wisdom to say to you in the Boston locker room, that they fell on deaf ears, Bill?
Well, let's look at this replay first, Rick. Okay, never mind.
Thanks.
Okay,
Skip didn't want you to bail out our directors.
No, what I'm telling you is our harshest criticism and the worst he talked to us was after we won a game.
I know, but you're still avoiding the question.
Oh, you mean
when he said it, when you did lose, that he said to you, you said that it falls on kind of like deaf ears.
That's true.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
No, you can't hear it.
Okay.
Because you know the first thing you say? Why is he picking on me? I'm the one, the only guy out there.
Sid Creed inside, McConnell with the rebound.
And that's what every player is saying when his name comes up.
West has it blocked by Corzine with a foul spot. A nice pass by Minifield.
You see, he might say, Russell, you did this and this and this. And then he might say, Kuz, you did this and this. Or Havlicek, you did this and this. And every one of us will take the same attitude. Why is he picking on me? I wasn't the only guy out there.
Well, he picked on you because you always screwed up the practices. That's why.
And then you always see when you lose and the coach gets on it, you have an excuse. Well, this happened or that happened. When you win, you can say, yeah, we won. He says, but you won. But if you do that against the good teams, you will not win. And here's the reason why. So you want to finish the season with the players' ears open, if not their eyes.
So see, the Magic Johnson said it wouldn't bother him if they lost all 3 games. They just want to get the playoffs over. And you're saying that's not good. As we end the first period of play here in Cleveland with the Bulls leading the Cavaliers by 1. And we'll be back to the next 12 minutes, and the Bulls will have to play a little better than defense than that against Boston.
Basketball, America's game. Brought to you in part by Honda Automobiles.
Rick Barry back with Bill Russell. This game may not mean anything, Bill, for either of these ball clubs. You see the team statistics for the first period, but it will mean something starting on Thursday night, April the 17th, 8:05 p.m. Eastern Time. The Boston Celtics hosting the Chicago Bulls. First game of that mini-series right here on the Superstation. Skip Carey, John Andres will bring you the action in that ball game. And then, immediately following that game, Bill and I will bring you the first game of the series between the Los Angeles Lakers hosting the San Antonio Spurs from the Forum. So we hope you'll join us Thursday night for a doubleheader playoff action here on the Superstation.
And Roy Henson got a bad pass, hit him right on the hands, and he was wide open. And he was dunking the ball before it got there.
Good defense by Cleveland. Minifield, a nice move against Paxson, who came in on the break. Schreck into the ball game also, along with Banks for Chicago. So wholesale substitutions on the part of Stan Albeck to begin the second quarter. A statistician, Jim Stamos, said we have to call a first round of the playoffs, not the mini-series. But since they're only playing 5 games, it doesn't seem like a maxi series to me.
Rick, if you want to call it a mini-series, you can do that.
Thank you very much, Bill. 3-second violation.
I mean, what does he know? Stamos I'm talking about.
We've played the first minute here in the second quarter. 10 on the shot clock for the Cavs. West can't get it to drop. Hinson will get a chance. Second chance for Hinson. That's Gene Banks.
That's part of that San Antonio connection that the Bulls have this year.
Banks and Paxson both. Good defense by West.
And Gervin.
Banks changed the shot. Right, George Gervin as well. That's about as far as I've seen George Gervin miss a shot.
And Paxton.
Poquette.
Paxson.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I'd like to see two of my boys sometimes making it. It's like Paxson family. The father and two sons making it. Schreck can't get it to drop. Rebound was by Poquette. Looks like he twisted something or got banged. Good alley-oop pass as Hinson couldn't finish it off. Nice pass by Minifield.
There are a few combinations of fathers and sons and brothers, but not fathers and two brothers.
Father and two sons.
Yes.
Yeah, they have, well, of course, you've got the Shays, Dolph and his son, Andy from
And Ernie
Denver.
and Kiki Vandeweghe.
And they're soon to be
probably going to have Manning.
Soon to be the Manning. Yes, I was just thinking we were on the same wavelength that time, Bill.
Right.
Well, I have 3 more shots at it.
Well, you'll make it in, Rick.
I don't know. It'd be tough. It'd be nice to see one of them make it. I just like them to all go to college. 4-point lead right now for the Cavs.
Hopefully on a scholarship. Rick.
Yeah, hopefully. Who had an outstanding game on the clinching game Friday night against Washington, coming off the bench. 38 minutes he played. He had a season-high 23 points, 9 assists, and was a big factor in that win for Chicago. That's Brewer. Ron Brewer's first points of the ball game.
You know, it's really funny to me, Rick. Sometimes you look at these players in a team like Cleveland, and you take the individual skills, and they're pretty good players. But you put them together as a team, and it doesn't work. And it's a real funny thing about, you know, we call it chemistry, but it's blending of styles, I think, more than chemistry.
George Gervin caught his own pass.
That's not good. They usually call it traveling when you catch your own pass. Although you're always passing somebody you like when you do that.
Oh, not necessarily, Bill. Not necessarily. Brewer, good pass to Hinson. Banks to the Paratrooper Club, and Hinson charges into Paxson. You know, Red, your old coach and our colleague, has been coming out with some pretty harsh statements and heavy-duty statements in the newspaper. I'm not going to go into detail what they were about. Those who follow the sports scene probably have read about them. He must have had some very interesting things to say in the locker room to you fellas at times.
You have no idea, Rick.
Thanks for the shot.
Hey, you have no idea of some of the crude and rude things he used to say to us.
Oh, Red's got to be loving this. You probably can't wait to get you back out there in Boston now. Minifield again. Minifield has 10. Cavaliers lead by 4. We have 8:10 left here in the second quarter.
But there's one thing you notice about teams that are not very good. They don't really do anything to you. For example, you look at the other end of the spectrum, the Celtics or the Lakers, and you know the Lakers, for example, are going to run you, and you know that Kareem is going to skyhook you. And they're going to do this to you all night.
And Boston's going to kill you with their front line. Larry Bird's going to do things.
Go inside. And they do this to you, and you're constantly trying to adjust to what they're doing to you.
That was Banks again.
But the teams that are not so good, they don't really do anything to you. They just go out there and they play, and if this works, they do it a little while, and you might not be able to stop it, and they'll stop it.
They don't have the identity that you talked about, been talking about with ball clubs, established that. Hinson. Hard to believe this is the same team that put quite a scare in the Boston Celtics last year in the playoffs. That's Sid Green. Green's first points of the ball game.
This is not the same ball club that put the scare into Boston last year.
Tied at 39. 7 minutes left to go, second quarter.
If only with intensity, it's a totally different ball club.
10 on the shot clock. That's Poquette, about 19, top of the key. Poquette has 4 now.
I was just thinking that he reminds me of Bill Whittington, except I really was thinking that. And you know what, Rick?
Schreck inside will go to the
The
line.
difference is Whittington's about 3 or 4 inches taller.
We've got a timeout on the court. 6:28 to go. Second quarter. The Cavs have a 2-point lead. It's never changed, Bill, because at the conclusion of this game, we're going to have to pick the Light Beer and Turner Broadcasting Most Valuable Player of the game. And, of course, as we've done all season long, a check for $500 from Miller Beer will be presented to the National Multiple Sclerosis Foundation in that player's name. Look at Gene Littles surveying things along with his assistant Herman Cull, and that was the trainer Gary Briggs sitting nearby. There is Mike Schreck.
Well, I'd like to see when they're shooting free throws. I was talking to Bill Fitch, and he says he can tell if a guy's going to make it if his eye just... See, now his eye followed the ball on that shot. And Fitch says his eye has to stay on the target when they make it. Just want to see in that last shot that the Bulls took, he followed the flight of the ball and missed the free throw.
Shot clock goes down to 10. West wide open, takes it home. Good pass from Lee, who re-entered the ball game for Cleveland. Michael Jordan has re-entered for Chicago.
And the reason I brought up Bill Fitch, he told me that he held the college record for most free throws missed. Bill Fitch. And he went in the Army, and one of his officers worked with him, and he got to be a good free throw shooter where he could make over 75%. And he said that was the key, that he kept his eye on the target and he didn't follow the flight of the ball.
I have something to say about that, but let's take a look at some scores, because we still have a playoff position to be determined as to whether New Jersey or Washington has the 5th or 6th spot. And you see the scores there. We'll keep you updated on those on our minute scoreboard. And right now, Washington doesn't look like they're in a very good position to get, it's the 6th or 7th spot. I have to correct myself there. Right now, New Jersey in 6th, Washington in 7th. For that order to be reversed, Washington must win and New Jersey must lose. Green finishes off the play after he ran that nice little 2-man pick and roll play with Michael Jordan. Bill, you know what I compare that to? You wouldn't hold a gun, aim down the barrel at, to try and hit a bullseye and not look down the barrel of the gun, would you?
The same thing, Rick.
You know what I mean? You wouldn't look up in the air
right.
to try and hit the bullseye. You kind of concentrate on the target.
Well, that's why I was noticing on that free throw again that his eye, as soon as the ball released, it followed the flight. I wonder if I did that. I must have. All the free throws I missed.
Mayfield can't get it to drop. That was Schreck with the rebound. Jordan to Banks.
Good pass. You know, I watched Jordan go in, and he has great enthusiasm, great energy. But he has a one habit that's not a real good habit.
That tongue?
He jumps up in the air to pass.
Too is not a good habit either.
Oh, it is. Hit him in the chin a couple of times and bite it. He'll stop sticking his tongue out.
10 on the shot clock. Free, who has re-entered. Can't get it to drop. West tracks it down. Free, three-pointer. Count it. Lloyd B. Free now has 17 points. He had 14 in the first quarter.
Well, Jordan jumps up in the air to pass quite a bit. And if you fake at him, sometimes you can make him throw the ball away or commit steps. You know, fake at him and then go back to your man.
Well, they're starting to show again. Now 15 for Michael Jordan. It seems that when the two of them are in the game, they've been offsetting each other with baskets or free throws. Paxson has the job of guarding Free now. Free wanted the foul. Paxson came away with the defensive play. Banks beats McDonald. Green was out of bounds when he came down. It will be Cleveland ball. Mel Turpin, Eddie Johnson also coming back in now for Cleveland. Let's watch the last play by Banks. He gave himself a bad angle that time, Bill. And there's Green coming out of bounds and steps out of bounds to the right leg.
And on the layup, he didn't get ironed.
No, he gave himself such a bad angle. He went directly under the basket and had to try to make a tough left-handed shot. One of the reasons was he was looking at the ball coming down the court, dribbling, and he got out of position. 7 on the shot clock for Cleveland. 5 now. 2. Three-pointer. They say the ball did nick the rim. 3 against 2. Jordan to Paxson.
Excellent run, fast break. 4
for Paxson. And Chicago back in the lead. They lead by 2. It's our 5th lead change of the game. 3.5 minutes to play here in the first half.
Now, you know, that was real close to 24-second violation. Because that ball didn't hit the rim.
The buzzer did go off. Well, the buzzer went off, but they say that the ball did just nick the rim on its way down. The foul was on John Paxson. Free, and Paxson hit the deck. An illegal defensive warning was being called by Jake O'Donnell, the signal he gave. That's what he's calling right now. We'll watch the play again as Free makes a good move.
There's Banks.
There's the contact, and there was the illegal defense. Bill's pointing out Gene Banks, the violator. Coming up at halftime, Prudential Sports Update. They'll be having a rundown of the complete playoff picture. Update you on all the scores and the action taking place as we finish out this 85-86 NBA regular season action. Free misses again. Paxson, Banks was leading down the court on the right side. Paxson didn't have control. Michael Jordan misses. Green again is out of bounds with the rebound.
Well, those last two plays that he stepped out of bounds, the coach can't get upset about that.
He's hustling.
Because he's hustling.
I know you'd like to see that. Like to see your player going after the ball that aggressively. Shot clock.
See, I think those players have to be counted as turnovers, but they're not turnovers that really affect your team adversely.
Shot clock is at 1. Count it at the buzzer. Eddie Johnson will go to the free throw line. Stan Hallback has to be concerned. They're tied now at 48 with 2:34 remaining in the first half. Let's watch the play again. See Schmreck playing the defense as he grabs Turpin and yanks him out of the way. There's the push-off with the left hand by Michael Jordan. We've got a timeout on the court, and we are tied at 48. Look, this is Michael Jordan on defense just a little while ago.
Now he's peeking. Now he tries to takes off a little bit there. Now, one or two things. First of all, his man got the ball again, but on the fast break, if he's going to be point guard, he's got to come back so they can get the ball to him in case they come with a rebound, one of the big guys comes to rebound, or it's a made basket and they want to get somebody to give it to. So him taking off a little early, he's putting that other guard in a tough position sometimes.
Yeah, and that time he paid a dear price because he took off early and his team didn't even have the ball yet, and World Be Free, the man he had gone over to help on the double team with, wound up with the basketball. Of course, Paxson should have been looking out for him as well, but Paxson actually went over to pick up Jordan's man.
Green pass by Poquet.
Free with good defense by Paxson. And it's going to be Chicago ball. Excellent play on the part of John Paxson.
Maybe he's going to play for the Sting. Lord, World Be Free. The way he kicked that one around.
Oh. Michael Jordan.
Good throw.
Banks, good anticipation. Gene Banks completes the good defensive play. He deserved that basket. It was an excellent move on the part of Gene Banks. Our 7th lead change as the Bulls go back out in front by 1. Minute 50 remaining here in the first half. Reminder, Kevin Christopher will have a complete playoff picture for you coming up with the Prudential Sports Update at halftime. McDonald, who came into the ball game in the last free throw, scores inside. Good pass by Free, who's been averaging 5 assists a ball game.
And another breakdown defensively inside for the Bulls.
And they can ill afford to have that happen against the Celtics with the great inside game they have with Parrish, McHale, and Larry Bird.
And Bill Walton.
Sidney Green. Another lead change this time. Bulls go up by 1. Minute 10 left to play, first half. When we come back in the second half, Bill and I will talk a little bit about some of those playoff matchups and traveling on the part of Turpin and want to see who you like, Bill, in the different confrontations. Just a look at Gene Littles, the interim coach. Replaced George Karl, who was fired.
Or
I'd be very interested to see, because I really haven't talked to you. Michael Jordan now has 17 points. I haven't talked to you about who you like in these
and my feelings are hurt because
series.
you haven't talked to me.
Okay. Well, I'll make up for it in the second half, Bill.
Okay. Okay, Rick.
35 seconds left to play here in the first half. and reaches in from behind. That will be the penalty against Chicago. World be free will go to the line.
Johnny Kerr was saying that Paxson, he was talking to Paxson about his brother won a game for Portland by blocking Joe Barry Carroll's shot in the last second. And Paxson's reaction was, he must have got him from behind. He can't jump high enough to do that.
He also is saying that in the game Friday night, Michael Jordan took the most shots I think he's ever taken in a pro game. Took 30-some-odd shots in the game. And as a joke, when he went to practice, he said he showed up and had his arm in a sling. You see the time remaining here in the first half. That's free against Jordan. Jordan wins.
Which will happen a lot of the time.
Jordan has 19 and Free has 19.
That's a good week.
Three-pointer, Eddie Johnson. Poquette gets it back to Free with 5. No chance on that three-pointer. Air ball. 1 second left here in the first half. Chicago with a 3-point lead. And that's the way it will end, unless that prayer goes in by Sid Green, doesn't even come close. So we're going to take a little pause with the score: Chicago 56, the Cavaliers 53. And then after that pause, Kevin Christopher will be back with the playoff picture on the Prudential Sports Update.
America's game. It's a.
Give me. Look at the first half scoring leaders. You can see Jordan and Free leading the way. And as Johnny Kerr, the color analyst for the Chicago radio and TV station, said it's kind of like Billy the Kid.
Was an outstanding center. He was a great passing center.
Out of bounds. Free couldn't handle the pass. He says it's kind of like Billy the Kid. Billy the Kid going up against Jesse James. Now, who would you relate them to? I mean, Billy the Kid and Jesse James. If you look at Michael Jordan, probably as
the kid.
As the kid. Michael Jordan. Great creativity and athletic ability on the part of Michael Jordan as he now takes over the scoring lead from Lloyd Free with 21 points. That's Turpin. Keith Lee saves it. Nice play. And Lee got a good bounce because he never followed through on that shot, Bill. He was kind of like a shot put. He just went and shot it, and his hand never completed the shot.
Well, he didn't want to hurt the rim.
It's surprising to see a soft touch like that. Woolridge to Corzine. Lee with another rebound.
Corzine seemed to have gone away from an easy shot to take one that's a little more complicated, we'll say.
Henson loses it out of bounds. Good help by Oakley sloughing in defensively.
Now, what I noticed about the Chicago Cavaliers, one thing they don't do well, Cleveland Cavaliers, is that when they get the ball inside, they don't do a very good job of passing back out. There's no rhythm to it, and most likely the guy will not make the shot when they gets the ball the way they're passing it.
Oakley tried to draw the foul against Lee. Nothing called. He loses the ball. Johnson to Lloyd. World be free. Now we can get away, as I said earlier, if you just joined us. I don't think Lloyd signed the papers officially.
I think we better call him World.
We'll call him World. He'll be upset. 21 now. He's tied with Jordan for scoring honors in this particular ball game. 10 minutes left to play here in the third quarter as Oakley takes it home.
And changes hands on the way.
That last basket that World B. Free made put him into 25th position in the all-time scoring list in the NBA as he overtook Earl the Pearl Monroe. Nice hand for World B as the announcement was just made to the crowd here as Henson can't get it to drop. Back come the Bulls. Cavaliers back well defensively. Oakley almost threw it away. 5 on the shot clock. Three-pointer, Woolridge. Eddie Johnson tracks it down.
Another brother combination, too, Eddie Johnson. His brother plays with Bullets.
Good defense by Oakley. Michael Jordan almost with another one of those impossible shots that he makes look so easy. Knocked away by Michael Jordan. 3 against 1 now. Woolridge to Jordan. And he didn't really quite get airborne. An aborted takeoff on the part of Michael Jordan that time. Jordan against Turpin. Good defense by Mel.
He just wondered what he has to do to get a free throw.
Timeout by Cleveland. 8:13 to go here in the third quarter. The Chicago Bulls are leading by 3. Real quick, Michael Jordan does really go in with a lot of intensity on this play, kind of nonchalantly here, makes this little stutter step and a crossover. He goes in easy. But look at
he got fouled on the play, but I think he is not going as determined as he will the next game.
Of course, that game is going to be Thursday night right here in the Superstation. First game of the playoffs against the Boston Celtics, 8:05 p.m. Eastern time.
And Michael Jordan is still trying to get in shape because he's not in NBA shape.
At the buzzer, it would have counted had it gone. A 3-point attempt by Free. Yes, his playing is improved with his conditioning. He's played his best basketball the last 5 or 6 ball games. The Bulls have won 4 of their last 5 to clinch the 8th playoff position. 7 on the shot clock. Woolridge will go to the free throw line. Inside game, Chicago big advantage, 26-10.
I noticed on Woolridge, if he ever went to his left instead of always going so hard to his right, he might get some easy shots inside.
Are you saying that there might not be a defender there?
No, they're overplanning him a full man to the right, and he's still going right.
That's what I'm saying. If he does want to go to the left, there wouldn't be anybody there. The front court scoring, though, dominated again here by Chicago, over 10 points differential. Now, that is something you know on Thursday night that probably will not be the case when they go up against that big front line of the Boston Celtics. Again, 8:05 p.m. Eastern time here in the Superstation, the start of our NBA playoff coverage. And then immediately following the game, we've got doubleheader action for you. It's the Lakers hosting San Antonio. Bill and I will be there for that game. John and Skip will take care of the first ball game. Keith Lee with good hustle inside.
Now, if you're Stan Auerbach, Rick, and you're coaching the Chicago Bull team, between Woolridge, Oakley,
Michael Jordan, 23.
Which would you put on Larry Bird? And which would you put on Kevin McHale?
Oh. Not an easy decision. 10 on the shot clock. Little double action on the part of the Bulls. 3-pointer, Eddie Johnson, no way. Oakley had it. Corzine came away with it, as Mark West, who came in for Turpin, was holding his arm. Jordan gets by Free. Foul called by Darrell Garrettson. Second team foul against the Cavaliers. Now let's have Michael and see how he winds up getting the ball on this play. Lee with a little push, and then Free a little late getting down there, and that's where he was out of position right there, and he pushed because he was out of position to begin with. We go back live, and Woolridge gets a penetration move. And we have the largest lead now of the game for the Bulls. They lead by 6 to 6:15, Mark. I tell you,
I would put Oakley on Bird. Because if you put him on McHale, I think he'll get in foul trouble much quicker. He won't be able to stop either one of them. But I think he'll get more in foul trouble inside than McHale.
Eddie Johnson follows it up. He has 7 points.
But the interesting matchup, to me, really interesting, is Macy and Ainge.
Well, that's why I think you're going to see a lot more of Paxson. I think Paxson is a better defensive player, and I think you saw some of that good defense in the first half when he was able to stop World B. Free a few times. Not that Macy doesn't work at it, but he's just not as good as Paxson defensively.
He's not as quick.
Oakley with another rebound. Yes, I would go along with you in that respect, putting Woolridge on McHale because of his size to make it a little more difficult for McHale to dominate inside, because with that height advantage over Oakley, I think that McHale would really take advantage of him. Good move by Oakley. Free came over to help out defensively. Let's see who they call on. I believe it will be against World B. Free. Yes. No, it's going to be against
I'll tell you,
Lee.
No matter how they match it up, both of those guys are going to be very tired at the end of the first half. Like I said, I want to tell you, playing defense on a relentless offensive player is one of the most fatiguing things there is in sports. Because if you do a good job, you still get beat most of the time.
Well, that's right, Bill. But the thing about it is that what they have to do in that instance is if they can make Larry Bird, whoever is guarding him, make Larry Bird take 5 more shots than he might normally take to get the points that he normally gets, and make him work harder than he might normally have to work to achieve the results that he's going to get anyway in that ball game, then you've done a good job. But it doesn't always show in the numbers.
It shows when you go home, though, because you hit the door and sleep in the hallway.
Yeah, well, also playing against Larry, you take a couple of bumps and bruises as well, because Larry is known to give it out. He's a tough player. Keith Lee on the rebound. Eddie Johnson can't get it to drop. That's Michael Jordan. Back comes Chicago. Cavs hustled back very well that time.
Almost a good play.
West to Free. Free to Lee. Lee takes it home. Now, that was really strange.
Well, he's moved in the 25th spot on the all-time scoring, so
that takes care of this season.
Right.
Because he was actually ahead of Lee.
Right.
17-footer by Corzine. Johnson gets it to Free. Now he takes a 3-point try. No, it was 2. Darryl Garrison said his foot was on the line. Only a 2-pointer for World B. Free, who is number 3 in the NBA in field goal percentage for 3-point attempts. Over 40% this season. So he said he's had an outstanding year. Inside of 4 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Kyle Macy. Macy has 4.
The shots they're getting today, most of those shots will not be there next game. They'll have to work a little harder to get some of those shots. Because I was looking over the league statistics, and Boston finished as one of the better defensive teams. They finished second or third in the league in defense.
Michael Jordan is given a little ride by Roy Hinson after the foul, not wanting him to get hurt. He went with a little bit more authority this time. You saw the good defense by Macy as we were talking about his defense. He came up with a good play there. There he comes in, good elevation, and Hinson knew that he had hit him, and they said he gives him a little ride to the floor, gently places him down. And a wise move indeed, because you certainly don't want to see a player like Michael Jordan injured, though everybody missed him all of the games that he was out with the broken foot. And it's a delight to see him back on the court.
Yeah, Boston finished third in team defense in points given up. They were 104.7. Seattle was 104.5, and New York was 104.
Roy Hinson takes it home. Well, of course, they're also playing in Boston Garden, where the Celtics have been almost invincible this season. Corzine inside, count it. And Chicago will take a timeout, talk things over. We've got 2:56 remaining. It looks like Michael Jordan's having a good time. And we'll see what he does in his scoring match against Free when we return. Fans, that is. This program is authorized on the rights that are granted by the National Basketball Association solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited. Dave Corzine, I would imagine, up against Boston. Well, they would certainly probably try to have him take Robert Parrish, whoever may be guarding him, outside, away from the basket, try to open things up a little bit inside. And he's a very good shooter. You have to respect him and play him.
His matchup with Parrish, he won't hurt the Bulls very much as an illegal defense. Calling the Bulls He'll keep a lot of body contact with Robert Parrish, and that should make it, unless they're called real close, that should make him able to handle himself for a while. But then when Walton comes in, it might create a slight problem for him.
So Stan giving one of those looks like, what are you kidding me? We don't play that defense. How can we play it illegally? Free throws, 8 for 10 for Cleveland. Chicago has taken 24 free throws. They've made 20 of those. So that's
because they went inside so much.
30-18 in the inside scoring. 2:35 left here in the third quarter. Henson draws some traffic. Paxson has come into the game along with Sid Green for Chicago. Michael Jordan has gone to the bench.
Good pass by Paxson in traffic.
Good ball movement by Chicago. Macy, good penetration, left hand. Macy with 6, and again Chicago with an inside basket. Woolridge on Henson. Henson on a good pass to Minifield. Minifield with a nice cut. They went for the double team. They're going to call a foul. It's going to be against Corzine. But when they went for the double team, the guard came over to help, and Minifield cut to the basket. Smart play.
A good pass by Henson also.
Inside of 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
It wasn't pretty, but it was effective.
Moore will be free. He now has 26 points, so he takes over the scoring lead for this ball game. Michael Jordan has 25 for Chicago. He's on the bench right now.
But he's got his arm in ice, Rick.
Woolridge went left, Bill, and he goes to the free throw line. And he had a big hole.
I guess that was too big not to take.
There's the shot of Michael. Such an exciting player. Without question, he and Dominique Wilkins, two of the most exciting players.
This has been quite a year for Michael Jordan. He was out most of the year, but he saved a ball club and a shoe company.
Very good. Woolridge now has double figures. He's at 10. And the Bulls lead by 5. Their biggest lead of the ball game has been 6. Cleveland led by 7 early in the first period. Shot clock goes inside of 10 for Cleveland. Corzine on West. Lee with a good follow. Henson takes it home. Roy Henson only has 5 in this ball game. Rather poor showing for Roy. He's one of the better players on this Cleveland ball club. Inside of a minute to play, third quarter. Brewer, who's entered the game, that was he on Macy. Wide open, Woolridge from a 19. Another rebound for Lee. Back comes Cleveland. 3-on-2 break. Minifield penetrates.
Oh, that was quite a move he made there, Rick.
Right between the two guards.
He faked them both. He gave 3 fakes and never slowed down.
Cuts it to a 1-point Chicago lead, and they were guards, Bill. It wasn't like they were big men. Final 30 seconds for third quarter. Woolridge from behind. Minifield ran in and caught Woolridge on the arm. McDonald re-enters the game for Chicago. Gene Littles, coach of the Cavaliers, former pro player himself, played for the Carolina Cougars in the ABA.
This is one of those jobs you take, and you're talking about thankless jobs.
Well, I know Gene's talked to him before the ball game. He would definitely like to be able to remain with the ball club and try and turn things around next season. Final 10 seconds, third quarter. Macy almost came up with a good play. 5 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Now let's see if they have a good out-of-bounds play that they choose here, because they should be able to get a shot off with 5 seconds on this. Three-point desperation by Minifield at the buzzer. Obviously, they didn't pick the right play, Bill. As we end the first 36 minutes of play here, we have 12 more minutes left for you. The Bulls still have that very precarious 3-point lead. And here's that great move by Minifield.
Indiana Pacer guard Butch Carter drives to the basket, but his shot falls short of the rim. Grabbing his own rebound, Carter puts in an easy layup. Is this basket legal? Hates any player who is airborne must pass or shoot before landing and cannot be the first to touch the ball without it hitting the rim. This is a traveling ball.
Woolridge right now. Now watch the position he has on Hinton. Now if he does this, Bill, against somebody like Kevin McHale, he's in big trouble. Now he does a good job screening off, however, but you can't play behind a player, especially like a guy like McHale.
No, not get that kind of position, because if he doesn't make the shot, he'll get a free throw.
Plus the way that the Boston team moves the ball, I mean, they'll hit the open man like Macy came into double team. If they do that against Boston, Boston will pick that apart.
When Boston's off guard is shooting well, they're one of the best passing teams as a team, as a unit, that I've seen in a long time. I think the last team that passed the ball as well as a team were the Knickerbockers when they won the championship with Willis Reed and Dave DeBusschere
Bradley.
And Bradley. Yeah. As a 5-man unit. There are other teams that, like, for example, Magic Johnson, pass well enough for any 4 guys.
Shot clock inside of 5. Green can't get it. Paxson was upset. He got popped right in the face when he was on the baseline on the other side. No foul was called.
If you can talk to the referee about it, then it wasn't that much of a foul.
You know, he's still working on the inside of his mouth as they isolated Hinton inside, and he couldn't.
See, if you hit real hard, you can't talk. You can go.
Banks is in the ball game. Sid Green. That was Hinton controlled. Minifield. Dirk Minifield now has 12. The Cavaliers have cut it to a 1-point lead for Chicago. You saw that statistic up there for Chicago. This horrendous shooting in that third period, only 36%. Corzine from 18. Banks with the push-off.
You see, I didn't push that hard.
Schmrick is going to be coming in for Chicago. Bill, if you were Orlando Woolridge and you had to play McHale, how would you play him? What would you try to do?
Well, you had to play him without the ball and try to force him as far away from the basket as possible. Don't let him get that low post position. Plus, I would run him and try to make him have to run back on defense. But I would not. The only time I would ask for help is when I fronted him. If I was playing him sideway next to him, I would not ask for a double team, because he's one guy that double team most of the time does not help you.
Brewer can't find it. He gets it back.
Because I don't think Kevin McHale loses the ball to a double team once a game. As many shots he takes inside. He and Kareem are 2 players that almost never lose the ball on a double team.
Foul was on Macy. Yeah, I know. I think if I were taller and had to play a player like that, I would definitely try to front him and say, hey, fellas, give me a lot of help on the other side, will you? Because you don't want him to have the ball down low.
Well, see, yeah, but with a good passing team, that gets you in trouble when you front him, because you end up with 2 guys having to guard 3 guys. And if they're a good passing team, one of those guys is going to be wide open.
Good defense by Minifield, but he loses it out of bounds. 8 on the shot clock. Cleveland on that last basket was able to regain the lead. 5 on the shot clock. That's Kyle Macy.
Look what I found.
Macy with 8.
You know, Rick, when the Bulls are good, that's the kind of shot Kevin McHale make on. When they're thinking about matching up with Boston, as great as Larry Bird is, I think Kevin McHale causes more aggravation trying to defend him, because what he does is just inside, and you can't stop him.
That's Gene Banks. Exactly right. He causes more problems for teams deciding who to guard him. Just like when we were having trouble deciding who we put on him. We don't even have to coach. Inside of 9 minutes to play in the ball game. Bulls back in the lead again. Shot clock goes back inside of 10. Good push off by McDonald as Banks tried to cut the way off. He just threw the left arm out. And McDonald's a pretty strong fellow in the upper body area. There's Johnny Kerr in the background behind Banks, laughing as usual, probably telling another one of his funny stories. He at one time, I think, didn't he have the record for the Ironman consecutive games?
Yes.
For what, up in the 800s or something? Quite high. There's Johnny on the left. Very funny fellow.
And was a really good basketball player.
Great passer. There was a great passer for a big man. That's Gene Banks. Banks has 12 points and has had limited playing time here this afternoon, and has been doing a good job for the Bulls in this latter part of the season. Minifield can't find it. We've got some action underneath. Macy hits the deck. Call a foul on Mark West. It just kind of was shooing a fly away and threw Macy on the floor. World B. Free re-entering now for the Cavaliers. Michael Jordan still on the bench for Stan Albeck's Chicago Bulls. I don't know if we'll see Michael come back in the ball game or not. I would think so, Bill, for perhaps another 4 or 5 minutes. Macy. That's Lee on the rebound. Reminder, 8:05 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday night, the Bulls against the Celtics.
That pass was meant for Lee.
10 on the shot clock.
And Roy Henson intercepted it.
3-second violation against the Cavs. Skip Carey, John Andres will bring you that action Thursday night, 8:05 Eastern Time, as Oakley fires. Charles Oakley now has 9. 22nd timeout. Being taken by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that's part of our doubleheader action and the start of playoff coverage here on the Superstation. And after that 8:05 p.m. start, Bill and I will be out at the Forum in Inglewood, California, and we'll have the first game between the Los Angeles Lakers, defending world champions, and the San Antonio Spurs.
You know, there's a lot of these games with the Celtics and Lakers, and you try to figure what the teams have to do to play them. But one of the more interesting matchups to me is Atlanta and Detroit.
Oh, yes, that should be very interesting. Atlanta won that series, by the way, 4-2, and Atlanta has the home court advantage. And they have a player by the name of Dominique Wilkins that's who also won the scoring title this season.
And he wants to do something that only 2 players have been able to do in history. Win the scoring championship and lead that team to the championship.
Wide open was Mason. Banks couldn't get it to him. Nice move by Paxson, but he isn't able to make that left-hand reverse. Who were the 2 players, Bill? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I believe, was one, wasn't he?
And I think George Mikan was the other one.
Henson uses his superior strength and height against Banks, and will go to the free throw line as Oakley came over to help out and drew the foul. What about the matchup? We'll take a look at that play and watch Henson inside as Banks is late getting over, and Henson uses his arm well, and it just knocks Banks out of the way, and there's Oakley with the foul coming over. Who do you like? I know you like Boston against Chicago, but, and what about Lakers San Antonio? You think San Antonio has any shot at all?
Well, they didn't finish the season very strong, Rick, and that's not good going to the playoffs on a downer rather than on a 6 or 8 game winning streak.
Big rebound by Minifield. But one thing though is Artis Gilmore normally plays Kareem pretty well. Does a pretty good job on Kareem inside. Henson again. This time he draws traffic. Good ball movement to get Minifield, who was wide open. That was his man, Paxton, who went in to help out, and they found him. That's what Boston does so well.
Now, that matchup between San Antonio and L.A., if you go break it down man for man, they can match up. But as a team, it doesn't come out like that.
Knocked away by Lee. 7 on the shot clock. Minifield doing a good job offensively and defensively. He made a good play there. Michael Jordan, you'll see him in the background there. He'll be coming in. Great pass of Minifield. West takes it home. Foul against Oakley. And Dirk Minifield putting on quite a show here in the second half. Has been having an outstanding effort. Got a timeout on the court. 6:13 left here in the ball game. 85-84. The Bulls lead by 1. And there was that great pass by Minifield, and West takes it home. After this afternoon's basketball game, we have Braves baseball here on the Superstation for you. The Braves against the Astros, live from the Astrodome. And then tonight, Nick Charles and Kevin Christopher will be hosting the Sports Page. That will be at 10:05 p.m. Eastern Time. But what about the other series? Dallas and Utah. Dallas won that series 5-1. Who do you like there? And why?
Who has home court advantage?
Dallas.
Well, I like the home team.
You like the home team. Of course, they'll have sellout crowds there for sure.
And then Utah also didn't finish very strongly.
Well, played kind of the way they played most of the season, up and down. They win a few, lose a few. They had an erratic season, as Michael Jordan has it knocked away by Henson. And it's going to be Cleveland ball. We're tied at 85, 5:55 remaining in the ball game. What about as Turpin comes in for Cleveland? Houston, Sacramento. Houston 4-2 edge in that season series.
You got to think Houston's stronger. Although Sacramento's finished strong, as long as Houston doesn't have to play them on Tuesday nights, they're okay.
Battling inside, Oakley against Henson for position. Shot clock goes to 10. That's Macy on free. 5 on the shot clock. 3-pointer from Free. Oakley almost killed Banks to get the rebound. Now you can see why he's been averaging 13 rebounds a game over the last 36 games. He has very strong upper body proportions. Large man. Jordan is fouled. That will be the second team foul only against the Cavs. The Bulls already are in the penalty. Here's update on those scores. Boston doing what we expected they would do to New Jersey, and Philadelphia. Washington has closed the gap there, so still don't know the positioning as Michael Jordan hits for 6th and 7th positions in that Eastern Conference playoff race. Jordan now has 27 points, and he has one more than World B. Free. Should Washington go on to win that ball game, they will be in 6th place, and they will play Philadelphia as opposed to playing Milwaukee. That's Henson. And we're tied at 87. And that would help Washington to come back from that deficit, Bill, against Philadelphia, and to know that they're going to be playing them in the playoffs. Of course, we
maybe
don't know
temporary insanity.
10 on the shot clock. We don't know what the status of Moses Malone also is going to be. 5 on the shot clock, or how well he will play if indeed he is going to return. Jordan with the big steal. The left hand doesn't work. Chance for Cavaliers to take the lead. That's Lee from 18. Kept alive by Henson. Minifield fouled by Jordan. He'll go to the free throw line and a chance to give Cleveland the lead as Sid Green comes into the ball game. And Sid's coming in for Gene Banks. There's Michael. Talking about the way Michael's played, Bill. In the last 8 games, he's had 31, 30, 26, 30, 26, 28, 24, and 22 points, shooting like 50%, and he scored 306 points in 324 minutes since his return in the last 14 ball games. So he's been like a scoring machine for Chicago. And this young man, Minifield, has played an outstanding game for the Cavaliers. He gives them the lead. He has 15 points in the ball game. Cavs lead by 2, coming up on the 4-minute mark here in the 4th and final period. Macy from Jordan. Macy ties it again. Our 10th tie of the ball game.
Now see, on that play, a good team could play by World B. Free. In the last play that Macy got that shot, that was a shot they should not have had, because there was no reason to have to double team Michael Jordan out that far out.
Good point. 28 points for World B. Free. Michael Jordan working hard to try and get open, and Oakley hits from about 18 feet. He's shown very good ability to hit that medium distance jump shot.
He looks like a skinny...
You're calling that man skinny?
Yes.
You got to be kidding me.
Well, if I tell you...
Jordan with the big defensive play. Look at Oakley battling, running down the court, and Minifield just held on to him. No foul call as Green goes to the basket. Will go to the free throw line. Who are you comparing him to, Bill?
I'm looking at the round.
Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley.
Okay.
He looks like...
Then he is small. He is small. That was that defensive play by Jordan. He'll come over to help out from the opposite side of the court. And he came over real quick, didn't he, Bill?
Boy, that was quick. And we're talking quickness there.
That guy was quick. And there is the man that we're speaking of, Michael Jordan. Sid Green gives the Bulls a 1-point lead. 3 minutes left to play in the ball game.
And in his own strange little way, this is a very competitive game.
Yes, it would have been very nice if it was deciding the 8th playoff position, wouldn't it? However, the teams are playing hard as World B. Free doesn't find it. Minifield, he'll go to the free throw line. And Stan Albeck decided that he better talk things over here, because he's going to see his team perhaps lose the lead when we come back from this timeout. Minifield at the line, a chance to give the Cavs the lead. 2:47 to play. And we want to remind you again, playoff time coming up here on the Superstation. Thursday, April the 17th, the first game of a doubleheader. The Bulls against the Boston Celtics, 8:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Skip Carey, John Andres bring you the action of that contest. And immediately following, the Spurs go to Los Angeles to the Forum to take on the Los Angeles Lakers. That'll be approximately 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right after the first ball game. And then on Friday, Bill and I will travel up to Denver to bring you the Portland Trailblazers against the Denver Nuggets, 10:20 p.m. Eastern Time. That'll be right after Braves baseball, and that will be the first game of their series. And that will be a very interesting confrontation as well, Bill. Of course, with that big trade that took place 2 seasons ago, Kiki Vandeweghe and Calvin Nat for Denver, and Fat Lever, and also Wayne Cooper.
You know, Rick, I was thinking about all the exciting young players in the playoffs this year. Akeem Olajuwon, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, Alvin Robertson of San Antonio, Manute Bol with Washington, Clyde Drexler with Portland.
Oakley for Chicago. And I tell you what, that'll put a little age on you real quick getting into the playoffs.
Yes.
World B. Free has it blocked by Schreck. Lee with an excellent move underneath with the left hand. Keith Lee. Lee now has 12 points, and the Cavs lead by 3. We're inside of 2 minutes to play. There's the game clock, top of your screen. Michael Jordan, yes. Double clutch with the left hand as he knifed his way up the middle. Michael Jordan now has 29 points. Green on Henson. Shot clock inside of 10. They call it illegal defense against the Bulls. That will be another technical foul. Stan Albeck can only shake his head. He looks good with gray hair, you know? Stan. Even though he permed gray hair. It looks good.
It may look good, but getting it wasn't that much fun.
Are you saying that perhaps it came a little earlier than he would have liked?
Yeah. You look and you see Michael
Gene
Jordan
hasn't been doing it that long.
Yeah, you see Michael Jordan go down, and they say maybe out for a season, 300 gray hairs immediately.
A minute and a half to play.
And I was talking about exciting young players, and I didn't mention Dominique Wilkins.
Oh. 5 on the shot clock. Minifield. Minifield has 20. And it's a 4-point lead for Cleveland. 1:10 left to play. Three-pointer, Michael Jordan. Air ball.
Now, Rick, you ever see that ball?
And now you wouldn't see Stan with that kind of reaction if it wasn't a game that didn't mean anything. Have I ever shot an air ball? Of course.
Oh, what was your feeling when you shot one?
I wanted the ball to take another shot. Free will go to the free throw line. And again, see the defense. He's able to get around Macy, the quickness we talked about, Bill. I really think that if this game was really on the line, that Paxton would have been in defensively. There you see, overplaying to the wrong side. He gave him the right side. He gets by him, and there's the foul. He'll go to the free throw line.
About 3 or 4 choices where we can put the foul on.
It's true. 30 now for free.
I won't say he's been free all day, but I would say he's been relatively unobstructed quite a few times.
Cleveland, almost their biggest lead of the game. They had led by 7 in the first period. Final 40 seconds coming up. Oakley, count it. He looked like he had traveled on the play. It wasn't called.
He didn't travel very far.
Very upset. And here this game meaningless, but not to Gene Littles. Watch the move. Now let's watch his feet, but let's see if he does it. 1. See, he shuffled his feet. You couldn't see his feet, but you could just watch the leg movement. He really had walked on that play. A big break for the Bulls. At least if you count trying to win the game, a big deal. Oakley now has 14 points, and it's a 3-point lead for the Cavs. And the defensive effort here by the Bulls could make things very interesting. Or a good defensive effort, anyway. Shot clock at 10. Sid Green fouls Henson. 22 seconds, as you see, left to play. There were 6 on the shot clock when the foul occurred.
Will he make the free throws?
He only has to make 1.
He'll have a nice, warm summer.
It'd be nice to make him. It'd be terrible to miss him and have the Bulls come down and wind up winning the game. I mean, even though the game doesn't mean anything, you still like to go off on a good note. And that should take care of it. Stan Albeck not even worrying about taking any timeouts or doing anything else. Green with an offensive foul. And the Cleveland Cavaliers will finish their season on a winning note. Final 10 seconds of the ball game coming up. And the Chicago Bulls will go to Boston Garden Thursday night, 8:05 p.m. Eastern time, to take on the Celtics in that best-of-5 series. Tipped in by Lee. The basket is good. Keith Lee credited with the basket. He finishes up with 14 points. The Cavaliers win 104-97, and they match their biggest lead of the game that they had early in the first period. But for Chicago, their season is not over. They will travel again to Boston to take on the Celtics. We'll have that action here on the Superstation. We'll take a break. We'll be back with our player of the game and some final comments in just a moment.